How much money did I make selling books on Amazon KDP in June? Let's take a look. If you're new to the channel, I make books on Amazon KDP and I document my journey here on YouTube. I do these income reports every month to allow you to come along the journey with me and see how much money I'm making, how many book sales I'm getting, etc. So now June's out the way, we can go back and look at the performance of all of the books on Amazon KDP. But before we do that, I just want to take a little step back and show you my journey on Amazon KDP so far. So taking a look at this here, you can see I started my Amazon KDP account back in the beginning of 2020. I was focusing on publishing high content, which for me was long form science fiction, and I did that for a good couple of years. It wasn't until 2022, 2023 that I started to learn about self-publishing, low content books, medium content books, and those kind of areas. So you can see there in July 2022, I had a nice spike from a book that went viral on Twitter. Then that went back to normal and my business started building properly from around mid-2023. So I've been doing this full time now for almost a year. And going back to the chart as well, you can see in December 2023, that huge spike where I earned $8,000 in a single month. And that's one of the great benefits of Amazon KDP is the seasonal nature of shopping, buying gifts, buying presents for Christmas, all of those kind of things. So I'm hopeful that 2024 this year, December's going to see an even bigger boost. But for now, let's get back into my results for June. So my goals for June were to publish 5 books, receive 1,250 book orders, and gain $2,000 in monthly profit. Now, I managed to publish 5 books, but I didn't hit my other 2 goals. And that's okay, you don't always hit your goals. I set myself quite ambitious targets this month, and I almost got there, but not quite. Taking a look at what I got up to in June, I created 6 books on Amazon. 3 of those were activity books for adults. I've tested the water with an activity book for seniors as well to see if I can start ranking for some keywords there. I added an additional activity book for kids. And then also I went back to, testing the waters with some low content as well and even made a notebook. Here on YouTube, I made 7 videos and got 68,000 views. And if you're following my other videos around Etsy as well, I made 2 sales and also got a couple of sales on Fiverr as well. So thank you if you're checking out my Etsy and my Fiverr shop. I really appreciate it. Now, on to the stuff that you really want to know. How many books did I sell in June? So I sold 1,135 books. If you're watching these every month, you'll see that number of books that's listed there is increasing every month. It's now up to 121. I want to get my amount of books as high as possible, but what I'm not going to do is rush to get there. I want to create high quality books. I want to launch them effectively using ads. And so I'm going to take my time with making the best books that I think I can make. And so that's going to continue to rise over time to get to 150, 200, 300 books. But for now, from my 121 books, I got 1,135 sales. What I like about this as well is you can see it's pretty consistent throughout the month. The largest days hit almost 50 orders and the smallest days were around 25 orders. So fairly consistent throughout the month. In terms of the marketplaces, the US continues to be my biggest marketplace. And that's why generally whenever I'm publishing a book, I'll always list .com as the primary marketplace. So the United States generally has the biggest marketplace, the most consumers, and so that's where I get most of my sales and I also spend most of my advertising budget. The United Kingdom also does very well for me on Amazon, with around 1/3 of my sales coming from there. I've got a good few from Canada and then some trickling in from other countries as well. In terms of how much money I earned through publishing on Amazon KDP, I made $2,368. For my Brits out there, that's around £1,867. Now, this is before advertising, which we'll come on to in a minute. But you can see there, just like my orders, the royalties were relatively consistent throughout the month. And I'm really happy now to see that I've got a base of getting a good amount of orders every single day. And nothing's dipping below $50 per day for me at the moment in June. You can see there as well, I had a couple of days that I went over $100 in a day, which was absolutely amazing. And hopefully I can continue to build that in the future as well. Now, making that much money on Amazon is great, but it doesn't mean anything if I've spent thousands on ads. So let's take a look at that now. In terms of my ads, I spent $265 in the USA, £184 in the UK, 68 Canadian dollars in Canada, and $5 in Australia. So the ACOS there, the amount of orders are relatively consistent. I always try and get around a 20% ACOS, but I did launch a couple of new books towards the end of the month, which especially in the US and the UK has pushed those ACOS up a little bit. But generally, I think my ads performed quite well in June. I wanted to give you a little bit more of an in-depth view into my ads in the US as well. So here's my advertising dashboard. I've blurred out the names of the books just to avoid copycats. But you can see here, these are generally how well my ads are performing. So I've sorted this by the amount of money I've spent. And you can see here, my highest spending ad is actually a lottery ad with loads of similar books in there at quite low bids. So that's costing me 23 cents cost per click. It's got me 25 orders throughout the month, and from just $28 in spend, it's made $229 in sales. Now, I'm not going to get all of that. Amazon's going to get a good chunk of that royalty, but the ACOS on that is really profitable, and that's a very good ongoing ad that I just keep running. And then looking down a little bit further, you've got a lot of keyword ads. Now, these are really, really important, especially early on in a book's life, because if you're getting sales via keywords, there's every chance of you then ranking organically for those search terms. So in terms of kind of ongoing sales, these ones are very important. And whilst, seeing there at 34%, 37% ACOS, they're probably not directly profitable, but I am getting some sales, which is going to help those books to rank organically. Then the kind of one outlier towards the bottom at 171% ACOS is a brand new book that I've started advertising. So it's only spent $10. It's in a very, very competitive area, so I'm having to pay over $1 per click, which is crazy. So I might have to turn that one off soon. Breaking down the ad spend and results for the month, I received over 2,000 clicks, spent $551 overall, received 259 orders, which means it's cost me around $2.12 to get an order through the ads. So that's not bad. That means I'm paying just over $2 to get a sale. Now, breaking that all down and looking at my profit for the month, I made $2,368, taking off my ad spend and then taking off my expenses, which on a monthly basis is just my Midjourney account. My take-home profit for the month was $1,781. For my Brits, that's £1,405. Now that's pretty good going, but what I like to do is look back over the last few months and see how that compares with, January to May. So looking back here over the last few months, I'd like to say that the orders are relatively consistent. They seem to be going in the right sort of direction. Anything over 1,000 seems like a good month at the moment. And then I think what's great about June compared to May is even though I got less orders, I made more money. And that's because my ads ran more effectively. So yeah, make sure you're always checking your ads. Wrapping up June, it was a good solid month on Amazon KDP. As mentioned, I reduced my ad spend a bit, but maybe I need to pull it back a little bit more as well, getting below that 20% ACOS where possible. But then on the flip side, I also need to continue to try and launch new books effectively. Launching a book effectively, getting it ranking for keywords, that's where you're going to get those long-term results from, which is what I want to keep trying to do. But it does cost some investment with advertising to do so. So it's like finding that balance between ad spend and profitability for the month. But going into my goals for July, I want to publish 5 books again. So that seems a sweet spot for me with everything else I'm doing. I want to try and push for 1,200 book sales. And then let's keep trying for that $2,000 in profit for the month. And there we have it. That was my June on Amazon KDP. But I want to know how you got on as well. So make sure you leave a comment down below. All right, thanks for checking out the video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.